These conversations ain't easy, but we shouldn't fight. There is a proper position in which to hold tight. Theological difference with the wrong and the right. Certain systems of beliefs are pretty pathetic, irrational, hysteric, and so unscientific. But I fight tooth and nail to be polite, to be nice with the tongue. We're still looking for a strategic. Goldfish.
Yeah, I put some food there. Mom told me not to, and then I named it Wonder.
Oh, yeah.
A fish called Wonder.
I don't think I've ever been sentimentally attached to any pet or animal. Yeah.
I had a cat. We had a very beautiful relationship with the cat.
Yeah.
Until we died.
Yeah.
I could spend money on it.
On the cat.
Yeah, like to take it to the vet and do some retouch on it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is. Like the Garden of Eden. We're not coming out of this place unless we're just. This place looks adorable. This place looks adorable. You know what? I think we should switch side because the good shade of light is on the other side.
The other side, okay.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And there's a couple there. What plant is it?
This is a house plant. It's so expensive to buy this plant.
Well,
Wow.
looks like we have it.
I love this because my friend, I will show you a picture of my friend that in Amsterdam. He has this now in a smaller thing right in the house.
Yeah.
Wow, it's beautiful. I love it. I wish it was smaller.
Yeah.
Oh,
But from the looks of it, though, it doesn't look that aesthetically pleasing to
it's
the eye.
good. It's a house plant. You can actually put it in the house. It's good.
Wow.
Yeah, unless I'm mistaken, but it is. How is it there?
Under that tree. Looks like somebody's grave, though.
Yes. People like to. Oh, it mustn't be. That's all officially said. What? By the first president of Zambia. I mean, he came to open a garden.
Yep.
I can't believe it.
Looks like we found our cherished location.
Yeah.
That looks adorable. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep, I think this is it.
This is it.
This is it.
I don't know anymore.
So we've been moving around trying to look for a location where we can just sit and chat. And this is just a series of raw conversations about pretty much everything from small talk to serious things. So today I just sat down to have a chat with somebody who plays a very notable role in my life, somebody who's like played a huge part in my developmental growth, both as a person and as a responsible young man. I consider him my philosophical dad. Yeah. Other than that, I can't really emphasize the significance and the importance that it plays in my life. So yeah, so I thought of just sitting down and having a chat. Yeah. So overall, just out of curiosity, what do you think about me? That's a narcissistic question, but I would like to know.
When it comes to you, I don't think I know.
Okay.
That's what I can say.
Yeah.
So I don't think I know. You see that, yes. So I like the mind like yours.
Yeah.
Why? Because I can have a conversation.
Yeah.
You know, and then you can comprehend what we're talking about, and then you can sift through that.
Yeah.
So you are able to distinguish from right and wrong as fast as possible. And you are able to understand, you know, and that I like. So the mind like yours, we can have a deep conversation.
Yeah.
You understand where I'm coming from without having to judge me. And from the first time, the first glimpse of you, when I met you, and I liked your writing, you know, they were like everywhere. And then when I found you reading that day, I was so taken aback because I was like, wow, this is interesting. So I like people that write. I don't know how to write like you do. I like to type. But the person that writes like you do, that from the first day, I knew you and I would be great together. And we were. I mean, we still are. Yeah, so I think of you as a genius.
Oh yeah.
You have a genius.
That would definitely
mind.
go to my head.
Yeah. I know. As you can make everything nice out of. You can make a lot of things nice out of nothing. You see that. So I like that. I think I love that about you, and you know that.
Yeah. And I remember that time we were walking down PHI. Then I don't know how this conversation came about, but no, I don't know what I said. Then you were like, you actually know Jordan Peterson. You've been listening to this guy. And I think that was 2019 or 2018. Yeah, and then turns out you've also been listening to the conversation the man was having. And then I think that just kind of made us bond more.
Even more.
Because then we could even understand each other on a deeper level.
No. I remember exactly what happened. It was in PHI.
Yeah.
Then we were in the meeting. The meeting. And then you, in your comment, I think you referred to him, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You referred to him. But immediately when you said Canadian, you know, Canadian something. Clinical psychologist said this and this. And immediately when we came out and chatting outside, and I said, were you referring to Jordan Peterson? And right there, you know, and our conversation went even more. Yeah, I think our liking to each other went even more. Because I wasn't thinking, honestly, from that moment, I knew we could have those conversations. And I knew why we've been having those conversations. Because, and understand each other. Because we were listening to something similar, you know, like to the same thing without us even knowing we're doing that.
And at that time, Jordan was like a rising big name because he was going against a lot of issues, especially surrounded around identity and social justice. And at that time, he was like really hated by college students. It was like a very explosive moment in his life. And I think that's what slightly made him famous. That time period when he just started criticizing Bill C-16 and all those things surrounded around feminism and women's rights. That's when Jordan Peterson blew.
Exactly.
And,
I remember when he was talking about in one of the interviews he did, and then podcast he did with Joe Rogan, and what he said there, he said every time that happened, you know, every time he had a crash with a university, with or different groups that had a different take on his conversations or in his stand, like you said about the bill, and he said every time that happened, he exploded. The internet was, you know, was so amazed about this guy. Like, you know, he's a professor, and then yet he had so much influence on and the whole world.
And just how he brought out these arguments was so interesting. He was the guy who was out there in court saying extraordinary things, you know, things which nobody could think anybody could argue them out intelligently. But he was just there, just making sense all the way. And then you're like, damn, where has this guy been all this time?
Yes. I got so interested. It's Jordan Peterson, and we were having this conversation in Johannesburg. I remember that very well in Krugersdorp. So we're sitting and we were having a very beautiful conversation with my friend. He schooled in Canada. He lived in Canada most of his young life. Yes, and then he came back to South. We're sitting in a penthouse, and we were having a lot of nice conversations. But this one particularly, he quoted Jordan Peterson. Then I googled Jordan Peterson. I think that was and then the same night I watched like dozens of Jordan Peterson videos, and I got so much interested in Jordan Peterson. So coming to Zambia and meeting someone that really loved Jordan Peterson, I was like, oh my God, this is it, and I think that's why we clicked even more, you and I.
Yeah. Anyway,
far away.
Yeah, we've got so much history
together. I love that about you.
And you've always been like an influential, like a father figure in my life,
Oh, really?
I admire you on countless points.
Oh.
No, really, I do.
Wow.
Those days I used to want to fashion my life in your line. I was like, man, I just want to do things like
that guy.
Yeah, even in the poem I actually wrote for you. I emphasize that I like the way you make people feel appreciated. Because you can talk to people of different backgrounds with weird stories and weird personalities, but you make them feel accommodated. You won't make them feel judged. Because it's easy to label people and put them in boxes, and then it's hard to communicate. But for you, anybody can easily talk to you. I don't know how you do that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's some nice, good thing to talk about. I mean, you've said about me. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yes. But I think it's human nature.
Yeah.
You see, it's human nature. I think of it like, we have to be nice to each other to make a better world for all of us to live in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we're human, I think that's it. That's what draws me to people. And everyone wants to be treated nice. I love to be treated nice.
Yeah.
So because of that, I want to be nice with an individual next to me, regardless of their social background, standing in life. Yeah, so I don't look at a person like a third-class citizen, but I look at everyone just like, we're equal. And that way, I think I find solace in doing that. Yeah.
So, what would you say are some of the interesting things that are happening around your life currently? Like, how do you go about a day? How do you spend a day? Like, what counts?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, in my business, which I like to spend with my clients when they come, I like to make them feel appreciated as well.
Yeah.
I like their money count, to make their money count when they come into my environment or into my business, so to speak. So I wake up early. I love early mornings. I start with a lot of things, and some of the things I do around 3 in the morning is actually listen to something interesting like a podcast, or sometimes I'll listen to the audio book to prepare my mind through the day, because it's different from my business, you see that, which so it's noisy there, but I love to start my mind prepared to that type of thing. But at the end of the day, it takes so much obviously from me, because it separates my personality. My business separates from my personality to the person I am, to actually a whole lot of different person when I'm there. But at the end of the day, when I know my customers are happy, are satisfied, I make sure that they're happy they came to my place. When I get home, that makes me feel happy about myself, and then I can relax. I can take off my clothes, and then I just relax into my PJs before I sleep. So that makes my day, because that's where I am. Of course, in my private life, lots has happened, and then I deal with it in my private life. When I'm at work, I would love to be there. I would like to be. I want to put my personal life aside. And then I be in that moment where that person, I'm there for them.
And it's actually not easy for most people to tear apart different experiences. Like, say for example, be in one place, experience that place, interact with the people in that place based on how that place goes.
Yes.
As opposed to say you're having a problem at home and then it spills into your other programs, or it spills into your other interactions with other people. who know nothing about your issues.
Yeah.
But if you're a person who has a personality that is flexible enough to accommodate, say, even your customers who are people with different personalities.
A lot.
People can't even sit down and just have a conversation. But you flow with them in that moment, which is good, you know. I think it counts for something. Yeah.
It does. It has to. It has to. And people that come to your place, I mean, to my place, like you said, right? We have the whole lot of different, you know, someone can just start talking, but you can see through them that what he's talking about is important to that individual. So you kind of listen, you just want to listen and just give them a listening ear, because where they're coming from, maybe nobody is interested in what they have to say. But to be able to tune that to their, you know, personality and to just give them a listening ear, I think you must be given an award for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I must be given an award. Okay, obviously.
Stroking your own ego.
I must be given an award for that. It's so difficult. It's bloody difficult to actually do that. But I like I said, it makes me feel better about myself that we can interact with such individuals. Yes.
So, like, just a random question: if say a young person or a guy my age just randomly approached you and said, "Look, I am having a lot of crazy stuff in my life going on. I won't spell it out like the whole lot of it. What advice can you give somebody like me who's at a place where I'm at? Not me personally, but I'm asking you to picture this thought experience, thought experiment where, like, what would you tell an average boy in his prime teens? Like, what advice would you have for him to chat a slightly responsible life?
Well, a teenage life or a young life, it's a very difficult stage where you can actually say, I'm going to give you an advice, because what you say may not exactly mean exactly what they're going through, or that maybe they will take it out or anything, but it depends on what is going on in their life. Can you put some meat to that question, like exactly what do they want to?
I don't put meat to that question because it will be a leading question. Okay. I want like vaguely, say for example, when you're growing up as a teen, you go through different stages in your life. You want different things. You want a lot of, and the mere fact that we're social creatures, there's so much we want, and we're in social circles where our peers are doing things that we also want to do. I think I'm in my, I wouldn't say I'm in my early teens. I'm slightly late. Up there. But the struggle is pretty much the same. You want everything that your friends might have, or you want to, at least, you don't want to stand out so much. You want to fit in. You don't want to draw undue attention. So, like, with that in mind, like, how would you kind of like give some direction, or just help somebody chat?
I see what you mean. Like I said, it's a very difficult stage to be, because you want to experiment. You don't want to, you want to live the moment. You want to live your youth. And it's important to live your youth, because you don't want that space you are leaving behind to come and relive it when you are older.
Midlife crisis.
Exactly. And it will create even more crisis when you are older. Some people have seen, like, much older persons, they leaving their teen years. You see, when they are married, it's a crisis in their house. They create so much chaos. It's pandemonium, so to speak, in the house. You see that. But what I can say to the youth is that, to that person individually, that you have to leave that time. Experiment, because what I say, I don't know if I can add something that I actually read, you know, in the Bible. We're not talking religious here, but even the creator of the mind knows, and he talked about it also in one of the books of the Bible. You see that. So because he created a mind, he knows what at that age a person will be going through. One, there's a lot of things, but I will mention just a few. You know, like there's a sexual need. You see that the person goes through the attraction to the same-sex thing and attraction to to the opposite sex. All of those things happen as a person is growing. So to separate that and to say that's my need or that's his need at that particular moment, and you want to separate that from that individual, it creates a problem in the person. And what I know is that when the problem is not addressed, especially that of the sexual need or whatever that may be, it comes with a vengeance. You see that when you grow up, because it will come back to haunt you.
So in short, you're saying, say for example, the sexual tension that you feel at a particular age in your growing up should not be necessarily suppressed.
You should have not.
You need to like go through it. But then, how do you strike a balance between going through that like exploring your sexual, like your sexual impulses? Like, how do you strike a balance between doing that and just needlessly going down a rabbit hole?
Well, obviously, the personal responsibility plays a pivotal role in that, because what I can say, like I said, you can just say it.
Yeah.
And it will be your decision to take it or not.
Yeah.
But then you need to be principled as a person to be able to not just take anything. Now, there's a lot of things that can happen as you grow up. But the sexual need, we're talking about that because that's what is prevalent at this point, right? It's like it's a battle.
Yeah.
It's a battle that no one can win.
Yeah.
You understand that?
Yeah.
Couldn't
agree more.
It's a battle that no one can win. Everyone wants to have sex. Given at any age, they want to have sex. There's a lot of pornography. There's a lot of what, people watch it. They say no.
I think we should also talk about porn.
Exactly. You see that. So that's a problem that has been around us, and we were trying to actually sweep it under the carpet.
Yeah.
In the households, among friends, people pretend among the circles like everything else is going well.
Yeah.
So, like I said earlier, a person has to be principled enough to be able to have a grip on what they're doing.
Yeah.
But what I would say is that it's important because we are sexual, the way we are made. You see that we feel those needs, and to be able to just pretend you're not feeling it does not work. And that's what I said. The problem left unattended to, they come back with a vengeance.
So
10 times.
So like in short, if you're feeling those sexual urges at say a young age, what do you do about it? I want to like get this as clear as possible. Like do you go around and sleep around, or you just find an alternative way to kind of like release it or suppress it? Okay. No, suppression is out of the conversation, but how do you maintain that? Because naturally it's part of our biology. It's part of who we are as humans.
Yeah,
we are like these type of animals. So like, how do you do it now at that age? Because it's practically a very difficult age, and it's even difficult for parents as well to parent at that particular time. Yes,
that's a very difficult question, but I'm going to say it as it is, as blunt as it can be, because a lot of people can fight, especially from religiously backed groups and things like that. Every person can have anything to say. You see that, and that could be fought. Anyone can fight with this, but then you can hide as much as possible. You can not talk about this as much as possible, but in the background, people are doing that. Whether Christian or not, people are doing that. So the more you actually fence it, the more you actually say, don't do this. It's a natural impulses. It's like you want to pee when you want to go to the loo and just pee. You cannot stop it. I give you an example. I got to Dar es Salaam. Then at the airport, I was so excited, and then to see the person who was waiting for us, and then I ignored pee. I wanted to go to the loo and pee. Then I said, I'm just going to be, maybe where we're going is just in a short distance. But there's a lot of traffic from the airport going to where we were.
Yeah.
I tell you, I was going to pee in the car.
Yeah.
I told the guy, please, you need to find the nearest place that I can pee.
Yeah.
You see that? You cannot, there's no way I was going to ignore that. Otherwise, my bladder was just going to burst.
Gonna burst.
Yeah, just like that. You see that? So that's how it is when it comes to sexual impulses. It has to be attended to.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we are sexual the way God created us. You see that? I could put so many examples with that. But what I'm saying, in the final analysis, that's I'm talking about a human analysis. When you analyze yourself, you know exactly what the answer is. Christian or not Christian, you know what you must do. And some tend to masturbation, and a lot of it, and people do that, especially boys, they do that a lot.
Don't we all?
You can Google that. You see that, and it says 97% of men have done that growing up. And then you see the fraction is, the number is so huge.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? You see that?
Yeah.
It's a natural
It's like
impulse.
we're trying to sit on the fact that we can't really sit
That
on.
you can't ignore.
Yeah.
You see that? You
Yeah.
can't ignore. So I think but when a mother or a father finds a boy or a teenage boy doing that in the bedroom, it'll be war in the house.
Yeah.
How dare you do that? But he has gone through that himself, and perhaps even worse before he got married. But this happens even in marriages.
Yeah. You know what I've noticed?
Yes.
Just to cut you off shortly.
No problem.
The religious, because of religious fundamentalism, we have a lot of covering up to do, and
Absolutely.
we have to keep wear and
Yeah.
faces to wear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because of that, we have so much to cover up.
Yeah. Yes.
And I've noticed this from my own experience with being around, like even myself, from my own experience. Your life might be practically okay where like casual sex is concerned. You have never been anywhere. You're just like a normal straight person, but secretly you have a problem, say, with masturbation.
Yes.
And you cover it up so nicely because of your religious fundamentalism.
Yeah.
And because of that, you feel you have so much to lose on the table. And you do, because of the
Yes.
social circle that you're in.
Absolutely.
So you just go around like a hypocrite, but deep inside you know exactly what you're doing.
You're covering up a
Yeah.
lot.
And it doesn't add up to anything.
You're covering up a lot. And I
Yeah.
tell you, and that's why I was saying, a problem left unattended to, it grows. You see that? So like when you're covering up a sore, like a dog bite or anything, and then you don't want the doctor to look at it, it grows. It starts, it starts bleeding. It starts creating other things, other problems there. So wash it out, clean it out, and let it heal properly. You see that? Bring it out in the open. But what you said is so important that we do that. A person of any person, that's a topic where I remember I had a conversation with kids at a certain school right here in Lusaka. I was distributing a certain magazine. And almost every kid that passed there, it was about masturbation. I know it was about pornography. Almost every kid that passed there said, "This is my problem." That's why we talked about. That's why we said it's a war, but we can't win. But we can win if we talk about it freely. That, and we offer solutions that are long-lasting. But because Zambia, it's all Christian. Now, when you sound different, even if it's a truth, it's perceived as wrong. I've been in so many problems. I think
And there was some time back, like some time back, I think 2018. I was trying to give some guy a brochure on porn. I think it was a green brochure.
Yeah.
So
that's the same one.
Yeah. So I was trying to give this guy. But
I remember we went together.
No, this time it was in Unza.
Yeah. Okay.
So I met this guy by Gomalix, and I was up there looking all smart and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Cleanly shaved. So I went and then I gave him the brochure. I was like, man, look at this. I think this will be of interest to you. And then he was like, no, I think it's a good thing that you're trying to tackle, like say, porn addiction. I can admit that that's actually a problem, a chronic problem.
Yeah.
But I think there are only two things that go on in this world. It's either you're sleeping around or you're jerking off. And then I was like, why would you think that? Then he was like, no, because it's practically impossible to suppress all your sexual tension without having it to bite you in the back or in another, for it to come out through another. It's like you close one hole, then it comes out off another hole.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So like at that moment though, I couldn't get the validity of his point because of deeply ingrained religious fundamentalism. But I think he had a point because looking at what we're talking about right now, there's a point where it's practically hard to suppress sexual tension. So if you suppress it in one area, you're doing well. It comes to bite you in another area.
In another.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that was a good point.
Yeah. And you know, when that's exactly true.
Yeah.
You see that. And I wasn't thinking about the next sentence when we were talking. I was paying so much attention to what you said right now, and it's exactly what we're saying, that a problem left unattended to, it comes back with a vengeance. It will come back, being in a marriage or when you are responsible adults elsewhere. It does come back, I tell you. So you need to live your youth, and many youth do not leave their age at that particular time. Let's say, I'll give an example of many kids that come to the university and they go wild because their parents are not there. Why do you think that happens? Like from Chilabombwe, for example, the boy is known to be so obedient at home, and he's a church choir. I don't know. I've just said that abruptly because that's an example I can give you, being in a Christian nation as Zambia. But then when he comes to school, it's something else. It turns into, because he has freedom, so to speak. There are no parents watch him and things like that. Many kids,
and no people to please. So what's the point of pretending?
You see that, and they can be anything they want to be. I've met so many people who pretend to be straight in Zambia. Meeting them in Johannesburg, you see, I said, I know you from somewhere. It must be another country. You Zambian, Nishan. But then you see the way and I'll see, oh my God, you know. But because in their country, they're not allowed to do this. And South Africa, and people talk about South Africa so much wrong. But I feel South Africa has more to offer. No, I'm not talking about a person changing where they are, but I'm saying of not allowing a person to be what they are. They say it's better the devil you know than the one you don't, right? Yes. So people run away to go elsewhere so they can be who they are, because that place allows them to be who they are. You understand that? And that's what I'm saying, that a young person comes from Chilabombwe, wherever they come from, you know, to go to to a place like this, you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, they start flying because they were caged for a long time.
It's like your true identity comes out.
It comes out right immediately.
Automatically people feel, when you just talk about such attraction, already you're meaning you want to sleep around, etc. Yes. And you know, I remember having a conversation, like a deep conversation with this individual. I did not even know what they're facing. You see that, and he's a young person. I don't know why. Whatever. But like you said earlier on, we have conversations with anyone. So I would sit on the bus in a public transport going somewhere, and then someone next to me, I would just say, hello, how are you? You just give them a smile, trying to make them smile. And then already a conversation starts. I think because of my background, and then a person gets into this conversation and they start crying, I'm facing this. But even in your inner circle, especially in a religion type of setup, you cannot have to start that conversation, especially of the homosexual thing. When you talk about your feelings, especially
that of that, and a person who's going through the problem of, I don't want to call it a problem of masturbation. In analysis, Jehovah or God knows about this in the final analysis. You see that? Because he's the one who understands our makeup. He understands what we go through when we're growing up. Look, I've done that before. I've gone through those problems before. But then you can't speak about it freely with someone and go back and they tell you, actually, I messed it up. I did this, and then you go back. It's like you are an outcast.
Yeah. But just to extend an olive branch to the people that are hostile and so opposed to people, even to those who are slightly battling these emotions.
Yeah.
It's because I think their opposition is slightly justified because they are coming from a religious point of view and they're thinking those ideas and that disgust that they hold is inspired by the God of the universe. So it's like it's coming from a deeper place, as opposed to just them being automatically hostile.
Yeah, of course. You can understand that. And I was like that as well before. I was like, how disgusting. How could a person do that? Yeah. But then coming to think of, the God of the universe, as you have said, the creator of the human mind and how it works. Yeah. I'm thinking, can a person have a relationship, with that God, the creator? You see, how? Because listen, you meet a person who has never even slept with a same-sex person, but they have an attraction and they are fighting it, they're battling it. Yeah. They have tried to kill themselves like countless times. I don't know why they don't die, because they've tried it. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a good thing they don't die. But what I'm saying is that the person is telling you, I've never even slept with a person. But listen, I'm battling. What must I do? Because the Bible judges me. But then, at that moment, with that individual, can't that individual have a conversation or an understanding with the creator himself? Because the person is already battling. So when you are in the circle with that person who is pretending not to be straight when they are not, and then here his friends are even condemning it, but they don't know they are sitting with a friend like that. Do you imagine how that individual might be feeling at that particular moment? You see that? You put yourself in that shoes, even though you can't feel the same. You and I can't. Feel the same thing that they are going through. You try just to understand, and how disgusted his friends are talking about, gay people like that. You see that? I neither support, I neither, treat them like outcasts or anything like that, because damn, there's so much love. There's so much love.
Plus it's conversation that builds bridges.
Absolutely.
Not marking each other.
Exactly, not marking each other out. But then look at the person who's walking like a girl and he's a boy. How disgusting people, what disgusting things people talk about when he just pass, like that, especially in our country.
Usually the religious feel like they should fix you, but we should get out this headspace of feeling like fixing people. Talk to people. Have conversations with people, understand where they're coming from. Don't go out there trying to fix something that is not broken. You might be trying to fix something that's actually not broken, So I think conversations build bridges,
Absolutely, I understand with it. It builds a lot of things. It builds a lot of things. We must be able to hear one another. You must be able to actually get interested. Because when you are having such a conversation, and immediately I remove a scripture, and I want to actually hammer that, which you already know. You see that? It does little help. You see that? It does little help because the person already know. He's already being judged. And he's in a Christian circle. But they pretend so much to actually be doing good. They want to be accepted. They want to do only good. When they go at home, they are so sad that they just want to die. Do you see that? But if you give them a chance and then just have a conversation with that individual and say, have you tried this? Have you tried to have a personal conversation with your maker? That could help. That could go a long way. I guess. That's what I think.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Anyway, we've talked so much on this topic. I think we should slightly switch.
Sure.
What's another interesting thing that's happening in your life worth conversation time?
Well, I don't know if it's interesting, but I'm in the space where I'm actually dealing with a lot.
Yeah.
You see that I'm dealing with a whole lot of things at once. Because I love my space, and my space which is not here. You see that my space. Every time I wake up and I dream, when I dream of a place, it's not Zambia. I dream Richards Bay. You see that?
Where is that?
Richards Bay is in the south. You see that?
Okay.
I've grown up there. I think you know.
Yeah.
So when I think of a place, even dreaming, I dream of that place.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that are happening because not being in my element. And a lot of things have happened. I don't want to review it on the camera or something.
Yeah.
A lot of things have happened. So going through depression, having to be in a conversation with a psychologist, I think that's what is going on big in my life at the moment. You see that? Yeah. And trying to fix myself, it's a big thing. Knowing yourself, you know, through those questions that someone is asking who is qualified enough to know a human, you know, mind outside the creator. You see that? Like a clinician and something like that. So it's interesting to know myself because sometimes I just cry, you know, in front of a woman because she's qualified to make me feel like that. So it's embarrassing sometimes, but I feel I love the process to come to the point. Yeah.
And so would you recommend therapy for people going through different kind of things?
Absolutely.
Like what really goes down? So do you sit down and have somebody talk to you, help you reach somewhere sound emotionally or mentally? How does it happen?
So I'll recommend that every person actually in life must go through therapy.
Yeah.
They must go through therapy. So going to a therapist, it doesn't mean you have a problem to fix, but also it just helps, because what happens that whether we only think a scripture can fix a person, but we don't know that there's a psychological part of it that you need to fix or that individual must fix. You see that? Yeah. So when we have a psychological problem, it must be fixed psychologically.
Yeah.
A spiritual problem then must be fixed spiritually. You see what I mean? So I would recommend every person to go through in life, to go through that moment. It's actually worth doing, and it helps a lot.
And issues surrounding depression, like I would lie if I say I've experienced like serious chronic depression. I don't think I have yet. But in as much as I'm so ignorant about the topic, I don't belittle the struggle when people are going through that, even though I don't understand it on a deeper level. But at least I can sympathize, you know what I mean? So for you, like how has it been, like going through that process, which you're currently still going through and all that?
I don't know how long it will take. But just to mention out of interest, or because it's important, many people, especially here at this university, are depressed, and they don't even know they are depressed. There's I think I read a publication that was talking about discussed teen depression. A lot of teenagers are depressed without even them knowing they're depressed. Not even their parents think that they are depressed. So if we are so aware of that problem, which is a pandemic, also like we mentioned of homosexual, of course the homosexual and pornography, it should be addressed in the same thing. But for me, it has been new. It is new. I never thought I'll go through a therapy, But when we sit down, it's not, doesn't come cheap. So I try to make every minute count.
Yeah.
But it's good for me. It has helped me to get to a point where it's showing me the way.
Yeah.
So she's not going to get me to a place where I want to go. You see that? But she makes me, the questions she asks, she makes me understand the steps which I need to take to get there.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know that the only bloody person who would help me to get there, it's me.
Yeah.
Only me. But because I know what I'm going through to that point. So she may be there asking me questions, pretend she know me, but the only person that I know better is me.
Yeah.
But those questions are really important.
And the most and the most help that somebody can give is just helping you chart your own path.
Absolutely.
They can't do the walking for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the person that can just give you a jump start, as you've said,
Yeah.
you know, like a car that has stopped there, and then all you need is just to get another battery to jump start the other vehicle.
Yeah.
That's all someone needs. Just
Yeah.
need a helping hand, just a little bit of push. You know,
Yeah.
they just stopped there. They just want to push, and it doesn't take a lot of time to help someone to do that.
Yeah.
10 minutes with them, it will be exactly what they just needed.
Yeah.
You know, just exactly what they needed. Someone wants just to cry, but they don't know where to cry from, because there's a lot of people everywhere. In this room, you want to cry there,
Yeah.
you find people. You
Yeah.
go this side, you find people. And then you're like, oh,
And
man.
sometimes people, when you want to cry, they judge you. You go to the person, you
Yeah.
want to just cry and open up, they try to fix you.
Exactly.
What the heck, my guy?
You know.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, it reminds me of the song, in Wamuna Samalila. Wamuna Samalila.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny. And I wanted to ask that question. I wanted to ask that individual, the one who sang that song. Are you sure I've never cried before?
Yeah.
I think it's so not true to sing
He
like
was
that.
actually saying, I think he was actually saying, men do cry. You know what I mean? But the social circle around has made it seem as though
He was
the guy is
saying,
not supposed to cry.
oh, I thought
So
as
like
well.
you're groomed like that as you are growing. You just
Yeah.
have to be toughen up.
Yeah.
There's no room for you to be weak or frail.
You see,
Yeah.
and that's what has made so many men commit suicide. You know, so men are violent in nature. So men would take a very brutal way to end his life.
Yeah.
As opposed, you know, as compared to a woman. You see that, but we are more brutal to ourselves. Only a man could get onto the tall building and then throw themselves down just to end everything.
Yeah.
You see that, because we battle with so many things and we don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
People, only us could pretend among our circle that we are fine when we are not fine, because we don't want people to feel like we are feminine.
Yeah.
Every man has to be
Macho
muscular,
and
you know,
macho and
exactly,
muscular
you know, that, you know,
Yeah.
and things like that. But then not knowing you're going through things, and that's what kills a lot of men.
Yeah.
In South Africa, I think a lot of men, like the statistics shows that up to 500 men, maybe even more. Not 500 is a small number. 5,000, I think, out of the whole population die every year out of suicide because they don't want to talk to someone.
Yeah.
You see that? But because I want to live, I want to enjoy life as a person, as a person who's going to the middle age.
Yeah.
You see that? I want to enjoy it, and that's why I put so much effort in fixing myself. Do you see that? And then I can pay a clinician to fix me. You see that? Yeah. So that's what I said. It's important every person goes through that.
Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, in just closing, because we have a lot to talk about, we can't unpack it
No, we can't.
in a few minutes.
Yeah.
This is like our conversation all the time. So today, you guys had a privilege to have it watched on camera. So, like, in closing, what podcasts have you been listening to? Like, what would you advise people to get into, like, intellectually and as well as emotionally, like anything that you feel could be positive?
Yeah, I watch, of course, you know, I watch a lot of podcasts. Just the other day, I was watching a 3-hour plus podcast by Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan.
Rogan.
Yes. The guy,
the god of podcasts.
absolutely, I enjoy it. And after finishing 3 hour 30 minutes podcast, I started another one for. It gets me to a point where I feel comfortable to listen to that type of thing. And I love music. My music is classical. I just enjoy, and YouTube know me now. So I would whatever makes you comfortable, whatever that helps. So for me, it's podcasts and music. You see that, and having conversations like you, like that what like the ones we have together. But in conclusion, I think whatever that makes you feel comfortable or that like heals you, like it could be whatever that you are interested in. Do it, and do it with all might. That helps a lot, and people must be aware of that. They just have to go for it. It could be friendship, it could be whatever. It could be sitting in a place like this and do absolutely nothing and just chill. It does help.
Alright. It was actually nice having a conversation with you. We can do this all the time. But for this one, I feel we haven't really gone to the meat of what we wanted to talk about. So this one is part 1. We'll have to come back for a part 2. And this time, actually, I think we should pick a different location.
Yeah, definitely. Wherever. It was really a privilege, having a conversation with you, sir.
In fact, for me, it was even twice as much a privilege.
Thank you so much.
Alright, so we're going to cut here.